that we are so strong and we are about to transform these United States because we deserve better than what we have. Are you ready? So I am reminded standing here looking at all of you that it is not about me, it is about us. It's not me, it's us. We are going to elect Bernie Sanders to be the next president of the United States. And y'all, this is our moment. We are 3 days away from Super Tuesday, and I tell you what, it is not enough to just like Bernie Sanders, because I know we all do. We have to fight for him. We have to fight. And that means we need to knock on doors. Today alone in the state of Virginia, we have already knocked on over 40,000 doors, and it is 4 p.m. Well, we have a lot more doors to knock. So, please do not leave here today without signing up to help Bernie Sanders become the president. You can go to events.berniesanders.com, or you can talk to any of the volunteers who got you signed in here today. Sign up for a shift, come help us win. Remember, it's not me asking, it's us.
Brothers, sisters, and siblings, from UFCW Local 400, Michelle Lee!
Hey y'all, I'm Michelle Lee, and I work at Safeway. I've been with Safeway for 32 years, and I'm here on behalf of all the people that work at Safeway, and I'm also here on behalf of UFCW Local 400. Bernie is a proud supporter of unions, and that's why I'm here. Safeway's in the process of negotiating our contract, our benefits, and our raises. And right now, Safeway don't want to fund our pension. We're 6 months late signing a contract with Safeway. Over the 32 years that I have worked for Safeway, I have come to work in the snow and risk my life for this company. I've missed spending time with my husband, missed spending time with my children. I wasn't able to go to my children's soccer game. I wasn't able to go to my children's basketball game. I miss holidays. I miss weddings and family functions to make this company rich. These multi-trillion-dollar companies such as Safeway have made money off the backs of me and my
coming to the stage, Mohammed Gula!
Assalamu alaikum, Virginia. Peace be upon all of you. My name is Mohammed Gula, the National Organizing Director for Engage Action, the nation's largest political organization serving the Muslim American community. Engage Action mobilizes Muslim voters in support of issues and candidates that represent the values of a pluralistic democracy. We're working across the country to knock on as many doors as we can, make as many calls as we can, to ensure that our community that has been demonized and scapegoated by the president and the political establishment for far too long. So today I want to share with you, Virginia, that Engage Action is committing to making or turning out 1 million Muslim voters across the nation. Now, as you can see, I stand before you as a proud, unapologetic Muslim. I stand before you as a proud, unapologetic Libyan. And I stand before you as a proud, unapologetic American. Now, someone asked, what does that look like? I also stand before you today as a proud product of our education system. Taught by some of the best teachers who to this day are still fighting for a livable wage. I stand before you today as someone who at 21 years old held a friend who was shot through the chest because we could not pass common sense gun laws and stop the epidemic of gun violence. That's what I'm talking about. I stand before you today as a child of an immigrant. My father, who was undocumented for 20 years, pushed into poverty because of an immigration system that automatically criminalizes people who look like him, who speak like him, and who pray like him. I stand today as a father who held his newborn son, wondering, how the heck am I going to be able to afford our monthly premiums, as well as our co-pays and deductibles, considering the fact that I have been uninsured and underinsured for the past 10 years. And so I stand today as a minority who sees his African American and Latino brothers and sisters who are being caged and traumatized by systematic racism in a broken criminal justice system. I share these experiences with you today because my identity is as American as it gets. Muslim issues are American issues. And American issues are Muslim issues. One does not exist without the other. There's only one candidate in this race who sees me, who sees us for who we are, as we are, and who has consistently been on the right side of history. This last week, Engage Action proudly endorsed the next president of the United States, Senator Bernie Sanders. So this Tuesday, March 3rd, let's remember our sisters facing hate for wearing the hijab. Let's remember our teachers, our union workers, our African African American, our Latino, our Native American brothers and sisters. Let's remember our kids with no books to learn from, and those in Flint with no clean water to drink from. This Tuesday, I commit, we commit to remembering all of us, not just ourselves. Can I get that commitment from you all today? Because that's what this movement is all about, and I'll end with this. If you think that these threads are as American as apple pie, make some noise. I love you, Virginia. Assalamu alaikum.
Sisters and siblings, your Virginia co-chair, representing Manassas in the Virginia House of Delegates, Lee Carter!
Well, y'all heard who I am. I'm Lee Carter. I'm a member of the Virginia House of Delegates. I'm on my second term in Richmond right now. And I am the only socialist elected to the Virginia General Assembly. Pretty sure I'm the only one in any Southern State House, period. But I don't come from a normal background for a politician. See, I'm not a doctor or a lawyer. I'm not a billionaire. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I don't even have a college degree. I got involved in politics not because it was fun, but because I got hurt on the job in the summer of 2015. And I couldn't walk more than about 50 feet at a stretch for about 2 months. And when I called up my boss, when I was ready to work again, I said, hey, I'm up, I'm walking, I'm ready to get back on the job. They said, we have work, but we don't have any for you. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a sad reality about the workplace today. Too many people who work in the building trades know that if you get fired, if you fall off a ladder, you get fired before you hit the ground. That should not be the case anywhere in this country. Now, when I look out at this room full of people, and there are a lot of people in this room, I see the kind of people that are ready to change that. I see the kind of people that made sure that Senator Sanders won the popular vote in Iowa. I see the kind of people that fought to make sure that Senator Sanders won in New Hampshire. I see the kind of people that made sure that Senator Sanders won by a landslide in Nevada. And I see the kind of people that are going to deliver this Commonwealth to Senator Sanders this Tuesday. Well, while we've been out there knocking on doors, making phone calls, talking to people, plugging our movement, making sure that people know they have a chance for a better future, the last 2 months I've been in Richmond. And I've been working hard to make sure that Virginians have a higher minimum wage. I've been working hard to make sure that public sector employees have the right to a union in this Commonwealth. I've been working hard to make sure that you can't be kicked out of your house for who you love anymore. And I've been fighting to make sure that people don't have to ration their insulin because they can't afford their co-pays. And y'all, I'm tired. I'm tired of a housing system that allows us to have 11 empty houses for every homeless man, woman, and child. I'm tired of a healthcare system that puts money in the pocket of billionaires while people die for lack of healthcare. I'm tired of a political system that half of this country can't even believe in enough to vote, while the interests of billionaires are put first and foremost on issue after issue after issue. I am tired. And I know y'all are tired too. But now is not the time to let up. Now is the time to drink that extra cup of coffee. Now is the time to get on the phone and call everyone you know and let them know that this Tuesday's election is the most important one that has ever been in our lifetimes. Now is the time to text everyone you know. There you go. Bernie, 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 Bernie. Now is the time to let people know that we can have a president in Bernard Sanders who will not only beat Donald Trump, he's going to change the system that made Donald Trump possible in the first place. He's going to help us from the White House, but he's not going to do it himself. He says all the time, not me, us. Us, in this room, in rooms just like this all across the country, we're the ones that are going to do that. And we're going to do that by fighting for Medicare for all. We're going to do that by fighting for housing for all. We're going to do that by fighting for education for all. We're going to do that by fighting for good union jobs for all. We're going to fight for a country for all. And damn it, we're going to win. So this Tuesday, I want you to make sure that you do what I did this morning and cast your ballot for Senator Bernie Sanders to be the 46th President of the United States. But you got some homework after that. Because our movement doesn't stop on Super Tuesday. Our movement doesn't stop at the convention in Milwaukee. Our movement doesn't stop on that Tuesday in November when we send Bernie Sanders to the White House. Our movement is going to continue in our families, in our workplaces, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. Our movement is going to continue when you talk to the people that you work with. And if there's no union where you work, talk to them about forming one. And if there is a union where you work and you're not in it, sign that card and start paying dues. And if you're already paying dues, get involved in your union's election and make sure that that union is fighting for Bernie Sanders to be the next president and fighting for the entire working class of this country. Make sure that we see everyone in this room, everyone in this country as one big union. Make sure that we know that an injury to one of us is an injury to all of us. And that an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. And with our organizer-in-chief in the White House, we are going to deliver the better world that is possible. So yeah, I'm tired, but I'm fired up. So once again, thank you all. My name's Lee Carter. I'm the delegate from Manassas, and I hope that I can see you all at the polls on Tuesday, and I hope I can see you all in your union halls for the rest of my life. Thank you all so much.
Brothers, sisters, siblings, your APWU President, Mark Dimondstein!
What a crowd! It's great to be here with all of you. And my first question is, are you ready to go out and make some history on Tuesday? I don't think they heard you in Roanoke. What'd you say? How about in Richmond and Merrifield and Fairfax and Alexandria? Can they hear you? The American Postal Workers Union represents over 200,000 postal workers throughout the country in every village, town, city, and community. And our executive board of the American Postal Workers Union is proud to have endorsed Senator Bernie Sanders for the next president of the United States. Our members are proud public servants, and a public, I say public postal service that belongs to each and every one of you. It is our national treasure, enshrined in the Constitution, that serves 157 million addresses every day, sometimes 7 days a week now, and is a source of good, living wage, union jobs. And your universal service is your democratic right to have postal services no matter who we are and no matter where we live. But they're powerful. Corporate and Wall Street and White House forces, they want to do what? They want to sell the post office, your post office, to the highest corporate bidder. They want to privatize, which will be the end of affordable services to everyone. And postal workers and postal customers. And in case you didn't notice, everybody in this room is a postal customer. We have no better friend and supporter than Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders has been on your side and all of our sides, standing with us to stop post office closings and to stop the slowing down of your mail service. He's been on all of our side, advocating for postal banking and expanded financial services that would do what? Put an end to this predatory lending, pay cashing industry that preys on the working people of this country. He's on all of our side, advocating for vote by mail as a counter to so much of the voter suppression that working people face in this country. And he's on our side, advocating, whether we have health care or not, advocating for not a sick health care system, but a true health care system, a human right health care system, Medicare for all, rather than a sick system that enriches the medical industrial complex. So, the working class, the oppressed, the 99%. Got any 1% in here? We're tired of being told we're asking for too much. No, we're told don't ask for too much. Don't expect too much. Whether it has to do with good jobs, good health care, tuition-free college to pursue our passions, clean water, clean air, and workers' rights, including the right to organize. But Senator Sanders has passionately advocated and fought for bold ideas and bold solutions, and thus are uplifting the goals and the aspirations of working people. Listen, those forces that proclaim that Senator Sanders is too extreme or too radical are those that don't respect and believe in working people, and that it is our hard work, our brain and muscle, that creates the wealth around us, and we deserve so much better. Don't you agree? Now, one last thought. There are no knights in shining armor. There are no supermen and superwomen that we can elect to solve our problems. And one of the strengths of Senator Bernie Sanders' campaign is that he rightly understands that it will take a movement. Not me, us. A movement to deal with this rigged, billionaire Wall Street controlled system and engage in the political revolution to build a better world. And as my union contract button says up here, for those who can read it, as we together are fighting today for a better tomorrow. So I ask you, not me what? Not me who? Not me who? Sisters and brothers, great to be here with all of you, and it's my honor to introduce the next speaker, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Independent voice for the 99% from all nationalities, all walks of life, and who speaks truth to power.
I believe that we will win. I believe. I believe that we will win. So I believe that we will win on Tuesday. I believe we will win Virginia. I believe we will win South Carolina. I believe we're going to win Minnesota. I believe we're going to win Massachusetts. And I believe we're going to win this election in November. And we're going to win because we are building a movement that is multiracial, multi-generational, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and it is a movement that is multi-people, working people. So this campaign says not me, us. And I know every single and I know every single one of you in this room sees yourself in that us. What I know to be true is that everything they say about our campaign is not what our campaign is about. What they say about our campaign is designed to make us invisible. Our campaign is designed to make everyone visible. They will say this is a campaign about Bernie Bros. If that's the case, then count me in as a Bernie Bro. They will say this is a campaign just that Bernie can't win states that Trump has won. But when you look at Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, Bernie is leading it. So I'm tired. I'm tired of people dismissing the campaign that we are building. I am tired of people dismissing the work that people are putting in on the ground every single day. I am tired of people dismissing how Senator Bernie Sanders has inspired a whole generation of people to believe in this political process. So I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset because I hear people say Bernie's angry. And I am upset because that's supposed to be a bad thing. I want Bernie to be angry because we have a lot to be angry about. Because there is time for righteous anger. We have to be angry that in the United States, there are kids showing up to our schools that haven't had breakfast, that haven't had dinner, we don't know where they slept that night, that they're waking up in families that are struggling every single day to make ends meet. I want my president to be angry about that. They say Bernie's angry. Yes, he's angry that we're sending young boys and girls overseas to die in someone else's war. They say Bernie is angry. But I want him to be angry of the fact that we spend so much money in militarization and don't have enough money to feed our kids, house people, educate our children, provide Medicare for people who are sick in this country. Now, if you have someone running for office that is not angry about that, then they don't represent you. And they don't represent our interests. Because not only are we angry, we're sad, we're depressed, we're sick. But we are motivated, and we are mobilized, and we are activated to create a different tomorrow. So the media, the political pundits, the billionaires who are running ads every single day, occupying our airwaves, are not going to tell you the truth about Bernie. They're not going to tell you the truth about this righteous man. This man who has had the moral clarity and the courage to fight for issues that are now so mainstream that every single person is tripping over themselves to claim it. These are issues like Medicare for all. Issues like student debt cancellation. Issues like homes for all. Issues like fighting to protect our environment. These were issues that were being championed by Bernie because he was listening to people. He was feeling our pain that it didn't matter whether the issue was popular, according to polls. It mattered whether the issue was popular, according to people. So when we are talking about a partner, when we are talking about someone who is going to be activated on our behalf, when we are talking about a person who believes in hearing every single voice that is living on the margins of society, that is not just Bernie now, that has been Bernie forever. So the way we're going to win this campaign is by continuing this movement that we have built. But we have to now, in Virginia, in Minnesota, in South Carolina, in Massachusetts, and in everywhere else, move our campaign to fight against the onslaught of misinformation that is coming to every single voter. We have to be honest. Honest about Bernie's record. Honest about what this campaign means to all of us. Honest about what's really at stake in November. Honest about the future of our country. Honest about the better tomorrow we can collectively build. And that honesty can only happen when you are having a direct conversation with someone. Because I know that when you allow other people to talk about what kind of campaign you're running, what kind of candidate you are, what kind of politician you're going to be, it's going to be all lies. But when you have people who are directly connected to the issues you are addressing, then we get a different kind of outcome. We win. Because my great state of Minnesota elected the first Muslim American to ever represent our country. Keith Ellison. And that only happened because in Minnesota we deeply believe in relational organizing. We deeply believe in having a conversation with your neighbor, with your family members, with your co-workers, and moving with the politics of joy in making people understand why you are connected to that candidate and why you want them to represent you. That is the only way you can help elect people that everyone tell you is not electable. So today, this Somali refugee wouldn't be in Congress if that was not the case. If we allow people to believe in what they say about me in the media, I would not be here today. And I know if people allowed for what was being said about Bernie in the media to carry, he would not have become a mayor, he would not have been a senator, and he would not be our front runner for the Democratic nomination, who is soon going to be our president. So they say the senator is radical. They say I'm radical. They say the squad is radical. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. If believing healthcare is a human right and we need to get Medicare for all is radical, then sign me up. If believing that we need to free 45 million Americans from the shackles of student debt by canceling the student debt is radical, then sign me up. If believing that we must feed the bellies of young children before we feed their brains is radical, then sign me up. And if believing that we need to address the climate crisis that we face right now, then sign me up. Because I believe it is time for our country to move towards zero waste. I believe it is time for us to cancel the welfare to the polluters and hold the fossil fuel industry accountable. I believe that it is time for us to have a Green New Deal. Because this is not about me, it's about us. It's about the next generation. It's about the kind of America we want. It's about the kind of world we want. It's about the kind of leader we need today. So I am excited. I am beyond excited to introduce my fellow radical, someone who believes in radical love, someone who has devoted his entire life to giving voice to people who needed their voices amplified. Someone who, by the way, is liked by most of us. Someone we know is going to create the kind of transformative change we need in this country. Someone who is building the kind of movement that we need in order to defeat the tyrant in the White House. Someone who believes that peace in the Middle East can only be born out of justice. Someone who believes that our resources need to be invested in caring for Americans here and not bombing countries abroad. And someone who believes that the Green New Deal is not just an idea that you use to mobilize, but it's an idea that we need in order to save our planet. And someone who is creating the kind of campaign that is truly multiracial, truly multi-generational,
working class, someone who has proven in every single state that has already voted. That someone is our next President of the United States. That is Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you, Northern Virginia. Whoa, there are a lot of people here. So thank you all very much for coming out. Let me thank Nappy Rhythm for their music. Let me thank Jess Weldon for the field pitch. Let me thank Michelle Lee and the members of the UFCW for their struggle. Let me thank Engage and CASA in Action for their endorsements. And let me thank one of the great trade union leaders in America, Mark Dimondstein of the Postal Workers Union. Let me thank Delegate Lee Carter. And let me thank one of the bravest people I know, Representative Ilhan Omar. Now, I don't know what I can say that Ilhan hasn't already said. So I'm going home, Biden. I'll try. What this campaign is about, two fundamental issues. Number one, for the sake of our kids and future generations, for the sake of who we are as a people, it is imperative that we defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. Now, Americans have differences of opinions on many issues, but we don't have a difference of opinion that the President of the United States should not be a pathological liar. We don't disagree that the President of the United States should not be running a corrupt administration. And for all of those incredibly brave men and women who have put their lives on the line to defend this country and to defend democracy, we don't want a president who has no idea of what the Constitution is about, who is undermining American democracy, and who thinks he is above the law. So today we say to President Trump, sorry, this is not an autocracy, this is a democracy. And in November, you're going to see what a democracy looks like, because we're going to throw you out of office. At a time when this country, for 200 years, has struggled with all forms of discrimination, going way back to what we did to the Native American people, the abomination of slavery, and all forms of discrimination. We will not accept a president who is a racist, who is a sexist, who is a homophobe, who is a xenophobe, and who is a religious bigot. Abraham Lincoln said you can fool some of the people all of the time. You can fool all of the people some of the time. But you can't fool all of the people all of the time. And the American people fully understand now that the President of the United States is a total fraud. This is someone who told the people of Virginia when he ran for president in 2016 that he would provide health care to everybody. Remember that? To everybody. He lied. What he did as president is try to throw 32 million Americans off the health care they have and to do away with the protections of pre-existing conditions. This is a guy who, when he ran for office, said, my tax proposal will not benefit the rich. He lied. Over a 10-year period, 83% of the benefits go to the top 1%. This is a guy who said when he ran for office, I will not cut Medicaid or Medicare or Social Security. He lied. His budgets call for massive cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. This is a president who tells us we are supposed to hate the undocumented. But as a private businessman, he loved the undocumented because he hired hundreds of them at low wages to work in his fancy resorts. This is a president who said, oh, it's a bad idea to outsource good-paying American jobs. But as a private businessman, he built his factories in Mexico, in China, in India, in Bangladesh, and in other low-wage countries. Now we're going to defeat Donald Trump. And we are going to defeat Donald Trump because we are putting together an unprecedented, multiracial, multi-generational, grassroots movement, the likes of which this country has ever seen. Donald Trump thinks that he is going to win re-election by dividing the American people, getting us to hate each other. He's going to divide us up based on the color of our skin, based on where we were born, based on our sexual orientation, based on our gender, based on our religion. Well, we're going to beat Trump because we're doing exactly the opposite. We're bringing our people together. We're bringing our people together around an agenda that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors. Now, we are part of a campaign together that does not have a super PAC. And we don't need a super PAC. And I don't need to go to billionaires' homes to beg for money. And the reason for that is that we have received more campaign contributions from more Americans than any candidate in the history of the United States of America. If you can believe it, it's really quite extraordinary. We have received close to 8 million contributions from 2 million Americans, averaging $18.50 a contribution. So what this campaign is about are working people contributing 10 bucks, 20 bucks, 30 bucks. What this campaign is about are many of you going out, knocking on doors, making the phone calls, doing all of the things we have to do to win. Bottom line is, and I say this as the son of the American working class, this is a campaign of the working class, by the working class, and for the working class. And as we speak right now, here in Virginia, but all across the country, there are tens and tens of thousands of people volunteering and working hard on this campaign. And that's how you win elections. Now, some of you may have noticed the corporate establishment and the political establishment are getting very, very nervous. See, today you're making them even more nervous when they see this type of turnout. See, they can't. I was reading something the other day. The military-industrial complex is getting very worried that we may not continue spending more on the military than the next 11 nations combined. And Wall Street is getting worried that we're going to break up these large banks that nearly destroyed our economy 12 years ago. And the pharmaceutical industry is getting very worried because we are not going to allow them to continue to charge us 10 times more for some drugs than they do in the country. And the insurance companies are getting very nervous because we are going to end the international embarrassment of being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all. We're going to pass Medicare for all. But it is not only the corporate establishment that's getting nervous. It's the political establishment as well. And they are saying, what is going on? Why are thousands of people getting involved and coming out to rallies? Why are they contributing? Why are they knocking on doors? Why are workers all over the country demanding higher wages? Why are Americans demanding an end to a corrupt political system which allows billionaires to buy elections? Why are Americans standing up against the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality that exists in America today? Why are young people saying, sorry, we don't want to leave college $50,000 or $100,000 in debt? And why are more and more people throughout our country demanding that we take on the fossil fuel industry and that we save this planet from the ravages of climate change? And they don't get it. The establishment doesn't get it. And then what they try to throw out, to try to diffuse or slow down our movement, they say, Bernie can't beat Trump. Well, I respectfully disagree. Not only is our campaign the strongest campaign to defeat Trump, but we are going to defeat him here in Virginia and in states all over this country. And I say to all of those pundits and establishment folks who think we can't beat Trump, take a look at the last 70 national polls. We beat Trump 65 out of those 70. Take a look at the battleground states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. We beat Trump. And at the end of the day, this is what I do believe. The only way we beat Trump is when we have the largest voter turnout in the history of this country. And you can't do that with the same old, boring type of politics. The only way you beat Trump is with a campaign of energy, of excitement, a campaign that brings working class people into the political process. A campaign which brings young people into the political process. And I believe that we are the strongest campaign to do just that. Is we have the courage, and Ilhan was talking about this a moment ago, the courage to be honest with the American people. And that is to talk about the reality of people's lives. And what is going on in America? What we know is going on is that we have 3 people on top who own more wealth than the bottom half of America. Today, while people in Virginia and Vermont and all across this country are working 2 or 3 jobs, 49% of all new income goes to the top 1%. Let's be honest. And let's be honest and understand that half of our people today, half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. You all know what living paycheck to paycheck is about? I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck. I lived in a rent-controlled apartment. And what living paycheck to paycheck is being under stress every single day. All right, what happens if the car breaks down? What happens if my kid gets sick? What happens if I get evicted from my apartment because they raise the rent? That's what living paycheck to paycheck is about. We are going to create what the American people want. A government and an economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. And what I want to remind you about is that you are living today in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. You got that, but most people don't know that, because almost all of the new income and wealth goes to the top 1%. So what we are going to do, and what we are fighting for, is a common sense agenda that represents the needs of the working families and the middle class of this country, not just the rich. If you work 40 hours a week in America, you should not be living in poverty. And that is why at a time when over the last 30 years, the richest 1% have seen a $21 trillion increase in their wealth, we're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. At a time when women make 80 cents on the dollar compared to men, and when Black and Latino women make even less, we believe in equal pay for equal work. Now, Mark Dimondstein made the point from the American Postal Workers a moment ago that the only way that workers can earn good wages and get good benefits is when they have a union. And that is why we are going to double trade union membership in this country over the next 4 years. It's why we're going to create millions of good-paying jobs, rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our water systems, our wastewater plants. We need to build, in addition, 10 million units of low-income and affordable housing. In the wealthiest country in the history of the world, 500,000 Americans should not be homeless tonight, including 30,000 veterans. 18 million American families should not be spending 50% of their income on housing. We can put millions of workers to work at good-paying jobs, building 10 million units of low-income and affordable housing. When we have the courage to think outside the box, ask questions that the media doesn't ask questions that Congress doesn't ask, we all understand that as human beings, there is nothing more important than a good education. And that is why we are going to make sure that in this country we have high quality, universal, affordable child care for every family in America. We believe that all of our kids are entitled to the highest quality education possible. That is why we are going to triple funding for low-income Title I schools. And I'll tell you something else. When we change the value system of America, what we think is important, what we understand, there is no job more important than educating our kids. And that is why if we love our children, if we believe in education, we must respect our teachers. I would hope that many of the young people here will give serious thought to becoming teachers. Truth is, we need more African American teachers. We need more Latino teachers. We need more special education teachers. We need great teachers all across this country. Teachers who love the kids, who are motivated by doing well by our children. And I want the best and the brightest on college campuses all over this country to say with pride, we're going to become teachers, and that is why we're going to raise the salary of teachers to at least $60,000 a year. I will tell you what's radical. What's radical is that in the last 3 years, billionaires in this country have seen over a $700 billion increase in their wealth. That's radical. It is not radical to say that teachers should earn at least $60,000. And I'll tell you what else is not radical. We have got to, and I think Ilhan Omar made the point, redefining what's radical. What's radical is when 500,000 people sleep out on the streets. That's radical. What's radical is when hundreds of thousands of bright young people cannot afford to go to college. That's radical, that's unacceptable. What we are going to do is make sure that every person in this country, regardless of his or her income, has the ability to get a higher education, either through college or trade school. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that by making public colleges and universities tuition free. And we're going to pay for that through a modest tax on Wall Street speculation. And again, when you think outside of the box, when you begin to think what a government that represents working families can do, remember, 12 years ago, Congress, against my vote, bailed out the crooks on Wall Street who nearly destroyed our economy. 2 years ago, Trump gave the 1% and large profitable corporations $1 trillion in tax rates. That is radical. What is not radical is canceling all student debt in America. And let me tell you what else is radical. What is radical is that the United States of America today is the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child. Together, we are going to end that international embarrassment. What is radical is that in the United States, we pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. We are going to tell the pharmaceutical industry that they will not continue ripping off our country. Let me tell you something that I have believed for my entire adult life, and that is that health care is a human right, not a privilege. Right now, I want
want you all to know this. It's important because you don't see it on TV. But what you need to know is that we are spending today on healthcare twice as much per person as do the people of any other country. We're spending $11,000 for every man, woman, and child. And after spending all of that money, we find 87 million Americans uninsured or underinsured. At least 30,000, this is a conservative number, at least 30,000 die each year because they don't get to a doctor when they should because they're uninsured. And when you want to hear about a cruel system, understand that 500,000 Americans go bankrupt every year because of medically related bills. This is America. People should not be in financial ruin while they're struggling with cancer or heart disease or Alzheimer's. And in the midst of all of this outrageous drug prices, so many of our people uninsured or underinsured, the healthcare industry last year made $100 billion in profits. Well, today we say to the healthcare industry that the function of a humane and rational healthcare system is not to make billions for the healthcare industry, it is to provide quality care to all of our people. And whether they like it or not, we will pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. And that means no more premiums for you or your employer. No more co-payments when you walk into the doctor's office. No more deductibles. No more out-of-pocket expenses. It means that any American can go to any doctor, any hospital, whenever they need to. That's called a rational healthcare system. And when we talk about issues that cannot be swept under the rug, we are embarrassed by a president who not only endangers America, but the entire world because he thinks that climate change is a hoax. And today I say to the president, it's not climate change that is a hoax, you are a hoax. And unlike Donald Trump, our administration will listen to science and the scientists. And what the scientists are telling us is that climate change is an existential threat to the future of our country and the entire world. What they are telling us is you're going to see more rising sea level, more drought, more extreme weather disturbances, more acidification of the ocean, more climate refugees if we do not get our act together. We have a moral responsibility to tell the fossil fuel industry that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of our planet. And that is why I'm proud to tell you that we have introduced the most comprehensive climate change proposal ever introduced by a federal candidate, and that is a proposal based on the tenets of the Green New Deal. We will create up to 20 million good-paying jobs as we transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. This is not an issue that we have options over. What we are fighting for is making sure that our kids and our future generations will live on a planet that is healthy and is habitable. And as president, I know and you know that this is a global issue, not just an American issue. And my job as president will be to talk to the people in China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Brazil, and make the case that instead of spending $1.8 trillion a year on weapons of destruction, maybe we should pool our resources, fight our common enemy, which is climate change. And when we talk about issues that cannot be swept under the rug, we have got to recognize that in America today, we have a broken and racist criminal justice system. Today in America, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth, including China, 4 times our size. What we will do is invest in our young people in good jobs and good education, not more jails and more incarceration. What we will do is end private prisons and detention centers. And what we will do, among many other things, is end the destructive war on drugs. Now, it turns out there are some things the president can do through executive order. One of them is to legalize marijuana in every state in this country. Now let me ask you all a question. How many people here know somebody who was arrested for possession of marijuana? What we are going to do is move to expunge the records of those arrested for possession of marijuana. What we're also going to do when we talk about broken systems that embarrass us is to transform our very broken and racist immigration system. And on day one, we will sign an executive order overturning all of Trump's racist immigration executive. On day one, we will restore the legal status of the 1.8 million young people eligible for the DACA program. On day one, we end a policy at the border that allows federal agents to snatch babies from the arms of their mothers. We will succeed in doing what the American people want us to do, and that is pass comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship for all the Americans. And when we talk about the issues that we must address, I know that in Virginia you feel strongly about it, and it's true all over the country. We must address the epidemic of gun violence in America. Now, Donald Trump and the Republican leadership in Congress are intimidated by the NRA. Our administration will not be intimidated by the NRA. In fact, we will pass the most sweeping gun safety legislation this country has ever seen. We will do what the American people want us to do, which is universal background checks. People who have violent pasts, including domestic violence, should not own guns. We will end the gun show loophole. And we will do what Americans today want us to do, and that is to end the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. Now, I am a senator from Vermont, and I'm on the floor of the Senate fairly often, hearing conservative Republicans give speeches. And that's a kind of painful experience. That's what I'm paid to do. And their mantra very often is they believe in small government, they believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people. That's what they say. And I say to those hypocrites, if you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women who have a right to control their own bodies, not the government. And you believe these guys talking about getting the government off the backs of the American people, but they're prepared to tell every single woman in America what she can and cannot do with her own body. And trust me, if it was for men in this country who are having babies, it would be a very different story. So here is my promise to you. I will never nominate anybody to the Supreme Court or the federal bench who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. We will move to put Roe v. Wade into law. Trump and his friends want to cut funding for Planned Parenthood. We got some bad news for them because we're going to greatly expand coverage for Planned Parenthood. So, here we are now, a few days before the Virginia primary, which is part of the most consequential election in the modern history of America. I am here today to not only humbly ask for your support on Tuesday, I am here to ask you to help us make the political revolution. And one part of that political revolution is bringing more people into the political process. The reason that Congress gives tax breaks to billionaires and doesn't raise the minimum wage is that Congress is controlled by wealthy campaign contributors. And the only way we change that is when we change the political culture of America. When we understand that as citizens, it is our obligation to be involved in the political process. So today I am asking you not only to come out to vote, asking you to go to your friends, and I know sometimes that's hard, and tell your friends you're sick about the environment, about racism, about sexism, about low wages. Tell them to stop complaining and to get active. That's right. We will win. And what this campaign is about, it's not only about winning here in Virginia, we're going to do that with your help. It's not only about winning the Democratic nomination, and we're going to do that with your help. It is not only about defeating Trump, and we'll do that with your help. What our campaign is about is a movement. It's a movement of millions of people who are prepared to stand up and fight for fundamental change in this country. It is workers who are demanding decent wages. It is moms and dads and young people who are demanding that we have the best education system in the world. It is all Americans who understand that health care is a human right, not a privilege. It is people all over the world who know that we must aggressively address the crisis of climate change. It is a nation that says we must end discrimination in all of its ugly forms. Whether it is racism or sexism or homophobia or xenophobia or religious bigotry, we are going to move to create a government of compassion and love, not greed and lies. Today we tell the special interests, whether it's Wall Street or the drug companies, wherever it is, that this country belongs to all of us, not just the few. So let us go forward on Tuesday. Let's win here in Virginia. Let's beat Trump. Let us transform this country. Let us go forward together. Thank you all very much.